When people talk about college football greatness, the conversation often revolves around speed, star power, and explosive plays. But on a cold Wednesday night at the Cotton Bowl, the Miami Hurricanes reminded everyone of a timeless truth in football: physicality still wins championships. In a commanding 24-14 victory over Ohio State, Miami didn't just outscore the Buckeyes. They outworked them, outmuscled them, and outlasted them. From the opening drive to the final whistle, this game became a statement about identity, toughness, and what happens when one team imposes its will on another. This wasn't a fluke. It wasn't a lucky break. It was domination built snap by snap. From the very first quarter, Miami made its intentions clear. Time of possession was always going to be a key battleground. Both teams entered the game ranked in the top 10 nationally, but Miami seized control early. The Hurricanes held the ball for more than 11 minutes in the first quarter alone, setting a physical tone that Ohio State never fully recovered from. By the end of the night, Miami had controlled the ball for over 33 minutes. That kind of possession isn't flashy, but it's devastating, especially against a defense that prides itself on speed and discipline. Miami didn't rush. They leaned, they pushed, and they wore Ohio State down. Nowhere was that more evident than in the running game. Miami rushed for 153 yards on the night, averaging over 4 yards per carry. Ohio State, by comparison, managed just 45 rushing yards total, averaging fewer than 2 yards per attempt. That's not just a statistical edge. That's a physical mismatch. Running back Mark Fletcher embodied Miami's approach. He consistently ran behind his pads, finishing runs with force and dragging defenders with him. Fletcher averaged nearly 4 yards after contact, totaling 68 yards gained only after defenders made contact. Early in the game, he met Ohio State linebacker Sonny Styles head-on in the hole and forced a missed tackle, something Styles had not allowed all season. Miami's offensive line deserves enormous credit. Against one of the best defensive fronts in college football, they delivered elite pass protection and bruising run blocking. Quarterback Carson Beck was pressured just 5 times all game, and he wasn't officially credited with being sacked even once. Beck played exactly the kind of game Miami needed: efficient, calm, physical when necessary. He completed 17 of 21 passes for 109 yards and a touchdown, staying clean on nearly 70% of his dropbacks. When the moment demanded toughness, Beck answered, lowering his shoulder on an 11-yard scramble to move the chains on a crucial drive. That drive came late in the fourth quarter, when Miami slammed the door shut. With the game still within reach, the Hurricanes engineered a punishing 5-minute touchdown drive. 7 straight runs, 49 yards. No panic, no trickery, just force. 3 of those runs converted first downs, including explosive carries by Fletcher and Charmar Brown. Ohio State knew what was coming and still couldn't stop it. On the other side of the ball, Miami's defense delivered one of its most dominant performances of the season. The Hurricanes recorded 7 tackles for loss and 5 sacks, turning pressure into punishment. They generated 22 total pressures, the most Ohio State had allowed all year. Even more telling was Miami's ability to finish. Their pressure-to-sack conversion rate hit 33%, meaning when they disrupted the pocket, they made it count. Ohio State quarterback Julian Sayin struggled under constant duress. He experienced one of his least clean pocket performances of the season. Miami's defensive line attacked relentlessly, with Ruben Bain, Akeem Masitter, Armando Blunt, and Marquise Lightfoot combining for 17 pressures, matching the highest total Ohio State had faced all season from an entire defense. The Buckeyes' offensive line unraveled. Multiple linemen recorded their lowest pass-blocking grades of the year. One starter was benched mid-game after allowing multiple pressures and a sack in limited snaps. Ohio State's protection simply could not handle Miami's intensity. Even in the smaller details, Miami's physical commitment stood out. Slot receiver Malachi Toney, one of the smallest players on the field, was asked to block on nearly a third of his offensive snaps, and he delivered. Miami treated blocking as a team responsibility, not a positional obligation. On third and short situations, the contrast was stark. Miami converted more than half of its short yardage attempts, running the ball with confidence and authority. Ohio State converted just 1 of 5. When toughness was required, Miami answered. Ohio State stalled. By the end of the game, the story was clear. Miami didn't just win on the scoreboard. They won at the line of scrimmage. They won in the trenches. They won in effort, endurance, and execution. This Cotton Bowl victory was more than a postseason win. It was a declaration. Miami didn't chase Ohio State's speed, they challenged its strength and proved superior. In an era obsessed with highlights, the Hurricanes delivered a reminder that physical football still defines champions. And on this night, Miami wasn't just the better team, they were the tougher one.